Hello everyone, I'm Tom Standage, Deputy Editor of The Economist and Editor of The World Ahead 2023. This is the 37th year that we've published our Future Gazing Annual, which now appears in over 90 countries and more than 20 languages, and we're delighted at the launch of this year's Nigerian and Ghanaian edition. Our core mission at The Economist, both in the weekly newspaper and in the World Ahead Annual, is to prepare readers for the future by helping them spot emerging themes and trends and by equipping them with the intellectual toolkit that they need to respond. We aim to broaden our readers' horizons, introducing them to ideas and concepts that we think should be on their intellectual radars in the future, to give them a sense of the wider possibilities of where the world might be going. Future gazing is particularly difficult at the moment, but that also makes it particularly valuable. From the unexpected shifts in geopolitics and economics to the unpredictable changes in weather patterns caused by climate change, there's a sense that we've entered a new era of uncertainty. There's a recognition that old certainties no longer apply and that things can change overnight. In retrospect, the pandemic marked the end of a period of relative stability in global politics and economics. It's even been called a holiday from history, a period in which much of the world enjoyed historically low levels of inflation, low interest rates, and relatively little military conflict involving major powers. But in the past year, we've seen the return of high inflation, sluggish growth, and concerns about nuclear escalation, an unpleasant combination that we last saw in the 1970s and 1980s. The conflict in Ukraine has had a global impact, causing volatility in energy prices, shortages of food and fertilizer, and a reconfiguration of global flows of oil and natural gas. African countries have been particularly hard hit. But where 2022 brought adversity to the continent, 2023 could bring opportunity. Some of the fastest growing economies in the world can now be found in Africa, including Rwanda, Ivory Coast, and Senegal. And as European countries look for alternative suppliers of natural gas to take the place of Russia, African countries may be among the beneficiaries. As we report in this year's edition of The World Ahead, 40% of the natural gas discovered between 2010 and 2020 was found in Africa, which now holds 13% of global gas reserves. As well as supplying new export markets in Europe, this gas could feed new fertilizer factories, including Africa's largest, which opened in Nigeria last year, and new power stations. But more must also be done to address energy poverty by boosting the deployment of renewable energy in Africa. As the climate activist Vanessa Nakate argues in our pages this year, this would improve access to energy and reliability of supply, reduce volatility in energy prices, and, of course, help stabilise the climate. At the moment, Africa receives just 2% of global investment in renewables, even though the continent has 39% of the world's renewable energy potential. More investment is needed from the global north, whose own development, propelled by the burning of fossil fuels, is chiefly responsible for climate change. The green economy also provides opportunities for African countries to supply minerals and rare earth elements needed to make electric cars, wind turbines, smartphones, and so on. And in the hands of African consumers and entrepreneurs, those smartphones bring opportunities too. Writing in The World Ahead, Tayo Oviesu, the CEO of Paga, believes there's still enormous untapped potential for fintech services delivered via mobile devices to create jobs, increase financial inclusion, and boost economic growth across Africa. Existing fintech companies have built the foundations in the form of payment networks, digital wallets, and money transfer systems on which new offerings such as lending, insurance, and small business services can now be built. What is clear is that to navigate today's unpredictable environment and to make the most of these new opportunities, you'll need to expose yourself to as many ideas as possible, understand the broadest range of possibilities, and take advantage of every tool that is available to you. And we hope that the world ahead will be one of them.